Merry Christmas. Today is December 25th, 2017. Advent 2017. I'm Pastor Josh and you're watching Stepping Stones of Faith. Today is Christmas Day. We're going to be in Luke chapter 2 verse 7 today, and the title of this is A Place for Jesus. Do you have a place for Jesus in your heart? Do you have a place for Jesus in your life? If you're a believer, where is Jesus in your life? Where is He? I pray and I hope that He is first and foremost in your life. He is up in front. He's the leader. I pray that for you today. I pray that Jesus is the leader of your life today, and that you would allow Him to work in your life as He would desire to do so. So if you're there, Luke chapter 2, verse 7. She gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in the manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. New parents spend pretty much every waking moment thinking about the place where the baby is. Is he safe? Who's holding him right now? Could he roll off that bed if I look away for a moment? Is the temperature too hot for this room? And who hasn't had a nightmare about accidentally leaving the baby at the grocery store? New parents have those kinds of thoughts. I know I did. I know my wife did. Maybe not about the grocery store, but the temperature of the room, sure. Is he safe? Where's the baby? Sure. All of those things go through a parent's mind when you're entrusted with a little baby to raise. And the pressure on a parent is very high. Can you imagine the pressure on Mary and Joseph, knowing whose son Jesus was? The writer says, we want babies to be in a safe place. All babies, our own or someone else's. But Jesus had none of this, none of that. He didn't even have a room in the inn with the other travelers, who no doubt would have been disturbed by his wails. Now understand, this speaks to Jesus' the prophecy of Jesus. He came to be a servant, not to be served. He came in lowly conditions. It was all prophecy. But think about it in the parent standpoint. He had no room, no bed. He had slept around animals. It wasn't a clean environment. Today you have to have, you have to use hand sanitizer to handle a newborn baby. There are things that they do precaution-wise today. It wasn't the case in Bethlehem, the birth of Jesus. She didn't have a nursery to put him in. She didn't have nice, fresh painted walls with his name on the wall, or a mobile over the crib that had special things on it to help him sleep. She didn't have any of those things. She had a feed box and a stall in a barn. That's what she had, around dirty animals. Think about that. And nothing sanitary, nothing sanitized, nothing clean. But yet he was there. Why? Because he was to be born in lowly conditions, to be a servant and not to be served. He was not going to come in a palace to have servants and to be served and to be waited on. He was coming as a lowly child, a lowly man, to serve those around him. Nonetheless, God was also providing for him the ability to maintain good health in those conditions. But nevertheless, it was because he was to be a servant, not to be served. When Jesus grew into manhood, he returned the favor, not just to Mary and Joseph, but for the entire human race. The night before his death, Jesus said to those who followed him, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If it were not so, I would not have told you that I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again, and I will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also." He returned the favor. He returned the favor. He grew into manhood and returned the favor. He didn't have a place to go. He didn't have a room when he was born. He didn't have a room in an inn. But yet in his Father's house, we'll have a room. There will be room for us in his Father's house. There was no room for him, yet he will make sure there are room for us, for those who believe in him, who believe also in him. Look what it says. Believe in God, believe also in me. So we have to believe in God through Jesus Christ. We have to have a relationship with God through the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. There is no other way to get that relationship but through the death and resurrection and acceptance of Jesus Christ. That's how we get there. And once we're there, there is going to be a room for everyone who believes and who trusts their life to Jesus Christ. That's a great thing. He came into the world, think about that. He came into the world. Mary and Joseph asked for a room. Sorry, there's no room for you, but you can go out here to the stable. And Jesus says, for those who believe, there will be room. There will be room for those who believe. He will make sure there is a room for you. He will make sure there is room for you in his Father's kingdom because he's Jesus Christ. There is no other way to heaven, no other way to this relationship but by Jesus Christ. I am the way, the truth, and the life, Jesus said. No one goes to the Father but by me. John 14 and 6. Same chapter we're talking about here. He will make sure there is room for you. He will make sure there is room for you. Trust me. Trust me. Jesus is our safe place. He is the one who laid down his life for us and took it up again, that he might be our Savior and our refuge forever. He will never let go of us or forsake us. We talked about that in a couple other videos. He will never leave us nor forsake us. And he promises that everyone who believes in him will be with him forever. Promises kept, we talked about. And we talked about promises that God keeps. That being the case, isn't it the great time to make room for Jesus in your own heart? Now listen. If you haven't done this yet, this is Christmas Day. If you have not done this yet, if you've not given your heart and life to Jesus Christ, you need to do so. If you've not asked him to be your Lord and Savior and forgive you of your sin, I want to urge you to do so. Today's a great day to do it. It's Christmas Day. Merry Christmas. Jesus is born. He's come to bring new life. Let him bring new life in you by accepting him as Lord and Savior. Let him bring new life in you today, that you might be and might have a room in his kingdom. Thank you for watching this series of Advent 2017. I'm Pastor Josh. You can be a partner in ministry with me. There's 3 things you have to do. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And that's how you can be my partner. God is a good God. God's providing things. God's provision is there for you and for me. So allow God to do something great in your life today. Give Him your heart today and allow Him to move so that you can have a room in the Father's kingdom. So until next time, this is Pastor Josh. God bless you and Merry Christmas.